Hey, this is More Better SN. This is my first YouTube video for Magic the Gathering Arena. I've been playing Magic the Gathering since 1997 and on and off, and I just got back into the paper Magic around 2020, 2021, and it's just hard to find time when you get older to get around with your friends and play Magic. So I've started playing Arena, but since I own so many cards in paper, I don't want to spend money on not physical cards. So the whole purpose of this channel is going to be creating decks and playing free to play and being competitive and being able to climb the ladder. And I'm going to show you guys how you can do that just by grinding and earning gold and opening packs and using your wild cards wisely. And we're going to be climbing the ladder. I'm also going to do some deck techs of some paper decks that I have, just some kitchen table Magic. Some of them have some formats like modern and standard and historic, but we'll get into that later in the channel. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be climbing the ladder, mythic ladder in standard with different decks, and probably going to be using the same deck for most of the month to see how high I can get with just that one deck. Might be switching it up here and there just to keep the channel fresh, but I can't wait to start this journey up to the mythic ladder. I've never been to mythic before. I purposely didn't play ranked matches for the past month just to get back down to bronze level 4, and I tried recording earlier and I had a little bit of a mishap, so we are starting at the next level of bronze, but that shouldn't be that big of a problem. So let's get into the deck and talk about our strategy for this ladder. Okay, so here is the deck. It's just a mono white Lifegain deck. I've played this in paper, in older formats where I have access to a lot more cards, but this is the newest iteration of it in standard. I'm going mono white. I see some Orzhov decks out there with Amalia in them, so you can add an extra payoff for your life gain, but I opted to go with the mono white version of this. Here is the deck. I have one case of the Uneaten Feast. I would put more of these in there just for the fact that I could cast everything from my graveyard, but I just don't have copies of it. So like I said, we're doing this with zero money involved, so I am sticking with the one. In the unranked matches that I've played in the past, this has gotten me out of so many games just because you can gain 5 life and bring back everything. Just flood the board and it's very overwhelming for your opponent. So in that same effect, we have the Hinterland Sanctifier, which is new with Foundations. It's basically what we had in the past with some stuff from Innistrad and all that, but this card's great. It's a 1/2 on turn 1, which most cards are 1/1s. It can get you some extra quick little pings in the beginning stages of the game, and it's also great for our payoffs. In the one slot, we also have Healer Hawk and Ruin Lurker Bat. Both are flying life linkers, go over the top, get in that quick damage, get that those life gain triggers for our payoffs. Speaking of life gain triggers, we have the Leonin Vanguard, who before every combat, once we flood the board with all these little 1 mana creatures, it's going to give us 1 life, and it's going to trigger all of our payoffs and make things bigger before combat. Now, the payoffs are an old card, a Johnny's Pridemate that they've reprinted, and a new card, Essence Channeler from Bloomborough. They're both the exact same card, basically, where whenever you gain life, each source you gain life from, you get a 1/1 counter. So these things get big quick. And the best part of the Channeler is when it dies, you can put those +1/+1 counters on something else. So I usually throw it on a flyer, so that way I can just keep getting that damage in and getting that life gain trigger. It also helps with the case, because when you put enough counters on one of those flyers and it goes in there and hits once, you've solved the case. Now, other creatures that we have in here, we have Linden, the Steadfast Queen. I call her Oprah because everybody gets life gain triggers. You attack with 5 people, 5 creatures, and you got 5 life gain triggers. So you get a +1 counter, you get a +1 counter, you get a +1 counter. This is the all-star of the deck. She's incredible. You bring in your Ajani's Pride Mate and then swing in and you get an extra 3 triggers. You're adding a +3/+3 to that creature, and it is outpacing opponents like crazy. Now, the next creature, Knight Errant of Eos, is basically here to refill your hand. We are going to have a ton of 1-mana creatures out in the field. We can convoke a bunch of them and refill our hand with a bunch of cheap creatures and then just unload them all. The removal for the deck is probably one of the best cards out of Duskmourn. It is the best card out of Duskmourn. If you have 4 wild cards for this, do it. It is incredible. Not only does it take a creature, but it gives your creature +1/+0 and lifelink, which is great for this deck because you can give the Channeler or the Pride Mate lifelink, and it's getting in there with big 5, 7, 10 damage, gaining you a bunch of life. And it gives it ward 2. So when normally you would take a creature, you could just kill it with Go for the Throat or any of these other kill effects. But now you got to pay an extra 2 mana for it. So that adds a little extra to the survivability of the creature and keeping that other creature off the board. Now, to go along with that protection, we have Lauren's Escape, which is awesome for this deck because it only costs 1 mana, makes them hexproof and indestructible, and you get to scry, so you can scry those lands down to the bottom and get rid of them so that you can keep casting more creatures, getting more triggers, getting bigger, and winning the game. Now for lands, it's a mono white deck, so I have all white lands, but I have 4 pain lands in here. And you ask yourself, you don't have any black, blue, or red in this deck. What are you doing with these lands in here? And that is for the ping. You're gaining so much life, it does not matter if it pings you, but it matters if it pings you before combat. Just make sure you watch the auto tapper because it will get you. Because it tries to use these as uncolored mana as much as possible so it doesn't ping you. But you want the ping before combat for the Essus Channeler, because then your Channeler gets flying and vigilance. Just by pinging yourself 1 life and then you attack, you're going to gain it all back anyway. But now this creature can go over the top and stay back on defense. So it's a great addition to the deck just to have a couple of those ping lands, and it helps you win so many games. So let's hop into some games with this deck, climb that ladder. Big T. All right. This is definitely a keepable hand. I'm going to keep this for sure. We got turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3 plays. We got a pain land. We just have to hope that we don't, get some, maybe have too much removal with black, but we shall see. All right. Good thing we have another. And another. Definitely going to run both of these out before we run out our payoffs. So now next turn, we can either go with Linden or we can start growing. We'll just have to see what we draw. No blocks. Perfect. Let's do this. Let's get the channeler down. And let's attack all. He's going to block one of them. Let's get rid of that Death Toucher. If he doesn't, we're going to get 2 triggers anyway. What is this deck up to? I'm wondering if this is the Golgari Poison deck that's been going around. Kind of want to build that. There's not a lot of rares in it. Oh, I guess this is landfall or just some kind of pile. Come on. It's totally fine. I think we're going to be taking that Nissa for sure. Let's get the Ajani down. We don't want them ramping out too much. Now let's get in there. One, just to get another trigger. If he wants to block, he can block. We can do this all day. Now our SS Channeler is a little harder to kill, which is good, but even if they do, we're going to throw the counters on something else, and we don't really lose that much power on the battlefield. Seems like he doesn't know what to do. He's roping. I have no idea what this deck is doing here. Alright, let's get Linden down. Okra. I'll take the ping. No big deal. We are in no rush. Slow and steady wins the race here. Keep it going. Another 2 counters. I'm very happy with our board right now for sure. And maybe I'll just attack with Okra. Why not? They think we're tricking him. Alright. Got another one. Guess this is an elf deck? Kind of a weird elf deck, to be honest. Alright, let's ping ourselves for one. Limit what can block. And let's go in with this. You're gonna lose one of them. You gotta pick which one. Hopefully he uses the death touch. And he does. That's alright. We're gonna put these on you. Just gotta get that death toucher out of here. What does this thing even do? Alright. Alright, let's keep building. Now what do I want to do here? I think I'm going to attack with the Johnny. And I'll attack with Okra, because we have another one. Let's do it. Let's see what he does. We're going to keep attacking with the channeler, the smaller channeler, until he eventually blocks with that death toucher. Hopefully he did not get a kill spell, but if he does, not the end of the world. Now we definitely need to go through the air. We cannot let that get through. This is a massive board right now. The only problem is I'm afraid of Glissa taking counters off of certain creatures if it comes in and actually gets in. So we will do this all day. I will block here, even though we won't get any kind of triggers. That's totally okay. I just do not want him taking counters off of. And perfect. And here we go. We're going to ping ourselves. We are going to go Sheltered by Ghosts. We are going to take that. I told you, this card is incredible. And Leroy Jenkins. Good game, sir. Going back in, climbing that ladder, gaining ranks. It's the name of the game. That was a little bit of a grindy match just because of that Death Touch flyer. But other than that, you saw how powerful this deck can be. Let's get the Healer Hawk out. Definitely gonna get that Channeler down. Let's get the non-pain land out. Channeler. Let's get that trigger. Because worst comes to worst, we'll have a 2/2 Healer Hawk. And he saw what was gonna happen. They know. They see the mono white life gain. A lot of people, they poo-poo on mono white life gain, but it's survivability, and with these creatures that just scale and scale and scale, and all the protection spells and removal that white has, you can't beat it. Definitely keep him again. We got turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. If we get a land, we got protection, we got triggers, we got payoffs, we got everything right now in this hand. Everything that I would want. Even better. But come on now. There it goes. Let's get the Channeler out. I think the Channeler's gonna die, but that's okay. I'll take the normal counter on the Hawk. Is this Boros Auras? What the heck is this thing? Nope. Sorry, sir. Will not be falling for that. Let's get Pride Mate down. Now we got a 3/3 blocker back on for anything that this decks want to throw at us. Hopefully 2 permanents don't come down so it doesn't become a 3/3, but that's okay. They're definitely going to be passing, I think. Oh, there it goes. Alright. No blocks. Ooh, and first strike. That's no good. Alright, so he's going wide. I think we need to get rid of him. So let's throw him down. Or her. And now let's Sheltered by Ghosts this guy. We are going to take him for sure. And now let's get that ping of life. Get those triggers. And go all in. Definitely gonna chump. Gain some more life. 2 more triggers. And I think this one's pretty wrapped up. And he scoops. What a deck. Maybe we can get out of bronze in this video. We'll see. I don't want it to go too long. I know a lot of people get bored watching long videos. Oh, definitely keeping this. Even though we won't really get some life triggers too early, but I'm okay with that. I'm gonna put the Pride Mate down on turn 2. Try to confuse my opponent. Maybe he'll think that this is that cat deck that's going around. Nothing. Now we don't have 3 creatures, so we won't be getting the +1/+1 counter from the Lifegain, but we'll still get in for 1. Now we're hoping we draw another land so I can put down Oprah, but if we don't, we still have a turn 2 play. I'm just wondering what this deck is. Oh boy. There we go. And we did not draw land. So, I'm still going to get the channeler down so we can start growing. Again, for 5 damage. Not bad. This deck is fast that we're playing against. Let's hope we can beat them in a race. Come on, opponent. Play your pump spells. Let's go. We all know what's happening. Now, if we don't get a land next turn, I'm not going to Knight Errant of Eos. I'm going to put the Lurker Bat down to try and stop some of this damage through the air. But this is going to be tough. Perfect. Get both of these down. Let's get our triggers. Let's get that 10 damage. Alright, sir. Can you beat me this turn? If not, it's game over. And the Slick Shot is perfectly capable of getting up to 15 power in 1 turn. Okay. What are you going to take? That's odd, but okay. You got 1 mana now. What are you gonna do? right, you gonna swing? All right. And he saw it. Another rank up. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here for day one. I think we did pretty well. We did not lose once. Oh, that's a good card. We didn't lose once. This deck is gonna be phenomenal for climbing the ladder. Please like and subscribe. Do all the algorithm things. It really helps me out. I'm trying to get monetized so I can buy more Magic cards. And I'll see you next time.